We always talk about how we work with breeders from around the world, and we try to bring in plants that are great for our collections. But what's made it, particularly great this year is this is the largest slate of award winners we've ever had. These plants are winning awards around the world, and we're able to bring them to you and to our growers and to our consumers with these plants that are just truly spectacular. So stay tuned and look at all these great new plants, super award winning.
So first off today, I'm going to talk about our new Abelias. This is a partnership with Plant Haven. They have been working with a breeder in Australia. So these are from a very hot and very humid climate. So they're perfect for our southern areas and our western areas. There are two new ones in the series. This is Pink Suntastic and Peach Suntastic. I know there are a lot of Abelias on the market right now, a lot of new breeding coming out, but these two have really stood out in our trials because of the fastness of rooting. So we've had some problems in the past with Abelias that don't really want to fill out a container really quickly. They're kind of slow, they're a little bit difficult. These are not those plants. So even though they're going to stay nice and compact and naturally kind of rounded in the landscape, they're not going to be taking as long to root in a liner or in the finished container. And the other thing I'd like to really point out is that some of the other Abelia varieties tend to get those big, long arms, for lack of a better word. They get leggy, they get these long running arms. These don't do that. These will stay nice and compact and rounded naturally, much less maintenance in the landscape, really easy care for landscapers, and sun and heat and drought tolerant.
Now we're going to talk about Agapanthus blackjack. So we have introduced some great Agapanthus over the years, and this one is probably more exciting than any of the other ones, especially with all the awards that it's already won. So it won Plant of the Year in 2023 for the Chelsea Flower Show, which is amazing. And then for the National Garden Bureau in 2024, it won the Green Thumb Award. So this particular plant is already a super award winner, going to be very popular just for that. But when you see this plant, the bloom is just spectacular. Of course, the name kind of gives it away. When it's in bud, it's almost black, and then it opens up to this deep, dark purple color. What's also great about these selections that we made is they're reblooming. So you don't just get that one-time bloom and then it's done. It has such a long bloom period that makes these even more attractive to gardeners and landscapers. Again, great for containers on patios. You get that color for a long period of time. Great for mass plantings and landscapes. I mean, that dark color is just really unique in a landscape. So, I mean, one of our most exciting Agapanthus releases yet, Agapanthus blackjack. So now we have Arborvitae Green Valley. So everybody's familiar, we sell just literally millions of Arborvitas every year. What makes this one different is it's more compact, a little more diminutive than the regular arbs like Green Giant. This one's going to get, maybe 15 feet tall. Also has that beautiful dark green foliage that you get with Arborvitas. Another thing that's really great is this was actually bred for more heat tolerance. So it does better in the deeper south where we have a lot more heat that some arbs are not able to take. So we love that about it as well. So it kind of extends that range for this plant. Again, same cold hardiness as other arbs, but you have that little bit smaller size for your smaller gardens, the dark green foliage, ease of growth rate is very, very fast too. It's not a slow grower. So, I mean, everything a grower and a consumer would like. So everybody make sure to check out Arborvitae Green Valley. The newest addition to the Encore Azalea series is Encore Autumn Moonstruck. It's the first variegated foliage Encore we've added to the collection. We looked at many variegated options over the years, but this one stood out. You can see it's got a great variegated creamy white variegation with green. One thing I love about it, it is very stable variegation. Many of the variegated azaleas I've seen in the market over the years tended to revert back to green very easily. This one does not do that. No reversion on this particular one. So we really expect this to move up the charts in the Encore Azalea series. There's many people that like variegated foliage plants, so this thinks this fits that. Plus it gives you the rebloom that Encore gives you spring, summer, fall. So again, great addition to the Encore Azalea series, Autumn Moonstruck. So this is a great new boxwood that we've added to the program. What makes it unique from all the rest in the boxwood world is this foliage. It's very elongated and narrow. Many people come and look at it and don't even think it's a boxwood, but it has this really deep dark green color, which makes it also great. It's dwarf, so it's only going to get to maybe 2.5, maybe 3 feet at full maturity. So great for low hedges. Of course, has the same care as most other boxwoods, zone 5 to 9, so very wide range. But again, the thing that sets this one apart is this really great foliage that it has. So we do have this available in 32 cell liners. It is a little bit slow, but anybody that's grown boxwood understands boxwood are not normally a fast growing plant, but when you get it to maturity, it is well worth it. And I think people that are boxwood enthusiasts and people that love boxwood, which are most of the country, will love this new boxwood. So Boxwood Lucky Charm, make sure you check it out today. Today we've got Carex Feather Falls. Now Carex as a species has become very popular for landscapes because it's so tough. It's a zone 5 to 9 plant, so it covers a big part of the country. We have some great colors in the Carexes that are available now. Well, this one is new. It's called Carex Feather Falls. You can see it has this beautiful variegated foliage, creamy white and green. But what you can also see is how big this thing is. I call it like a Carex on steroids. You can see how large it gets. Many of the other Carex will only be about half this size. So that tells you and tells me this thing is a super fast grower, very tough. All Carex are very water wise. They'll take dry areas in your garden. Easy to grow, sun, part shade, even in a lot of shade. But I like this one. It takes the full sun probably better than any other Carex, which is another great attribute to this one. So make sure if you're a fan of Carex to look for Carex Feather Falls.
I would like to tell you today about the Colocasia Waikiki. This is a great new addition to the program. It has wonderful foliage. It is a great addition to the program. There are other elephant ears that have been around a long time, but this one is unique because of the coloring. You can still use it in containers and also in the landscape. The more sun you give it, the brighter the colors that you will see. When growing this plant, it's good to cut it back a couple of times. That will encourage it to thicken up and it'll look nicer the more that it gets cut back. If you plant it in the fall, it should be ready by the spring. This plant will get to be about 3 to 4 foot in height and about 3 to 4 foot in width. Best in zones 8 to 11. This plant performs best in well-drained soil, and it likes warm temperatures and humidity to thrive. We're bringing in 2 new varieties of Colocasia. First, the Redemption. It has a nice dark foliage leaf with a pink vein in the middle. And then we also have the Pharaoh's Mask. It is a green leaf with a purple vein in the middle. It creates a 3D effect. Beautiful, beautiful foliage as well. So make sure that you pick up yours today. I'd like to tell you today about the Dietes Milky Way. It has a nice variegated foliage with a clumping habit, and it also produces a nice yellow pale bloom. It likes full sun to part shade. It also likes to grow in zones 8 to 11. It grows in full sun and also in a little bit of part shade. We sell this as a liner from a 72 cell, and then it's best grown in a 1 to a 3 gallon. If you plant it in a 1 gallon, it's best to plant it in the fall and then it'll be ready in the spring. If you want a 2 gallon, you could plant in the spring and it'll be ready for the next spring. Make sure to pick up your Dietes 72 cell liners today.
Today I'd like to introduce you to one of my new Ilex crenata holly selections. We call it Mini Touch. It's kind of comparable to Soft Touch, but it's a much more compact grower than Soft Touch. This plant can be maintained in the garden at about 2 feet. Real nice plant, really great texture.
Okay, next we have Holly Red Sky. So I'm sure everybody is familiar with Sky Pencil Holly and just how amazingly popular it's been with consumers. I mean, we continue to sell them by the tens of thousands to consumers Everybody loves that really upright, strong, upright growth that it gives. So it adds just a whole different look to a landscape. What's great about this one, it has that same, upright growth, dark green foliage, but then all the new growth has this really bright burgundy color to it. So it really adds a whole different look to this plant when it's has new growth on it. And it continues to have new growth through the season. Even with a little trim, you'll get even more. But in the spring, when it flushes, it is spectacular and really stands apart.
Today, we're going to be talking about our new lavender. And with the Sunset Collection, we've been wanting to expand our lavender collection, but there are so many lavenders out there. I'm sure you all feel the same way. So this particular lavender is coming from a breeder in Spain. So it's a hot climate that we are selecting out of. And we've been looking at it now for about 3 years. So in the trials of the lavender stochas, there have been hundreds of them that we look at. And for some reason, every year, this is the one that catches our eye. It has a really nice dark purple, and you can see the calyx is a little bit frilly, so it has a different flower form. The flowers actually get larger and darker as they open, and it has an open habit. So what we're finding with a lot of these, when they're too dense, if we have overhead water and the irrigation and the production cycle, or if the homeowner, if they're watering it, we're getting more of the botrytis and the disease setting into the center of the plant. When you have a more open growth habit like this, the water and the rain can actually penetrate in it and go through it. The plant dries out a lot faster, and we don't see the disease issues that we can see with some of the tighter growing varieties. But we are not seeing any decrease in the amount of flower power. So these will still cover up with flowers. They still have a very long growing season and a long blooming season, but you don't have any of the problems with the disease that we've seen with some of the other stochas.
Today I would like to tell you about the Lavandra Platinum Beauty. As you can see, it has wonderful variegated foliage, and the great thing about this plant is that it has year-round color, making it an evergreen, so you can plant it and have it for color all year round. Also, it's low maintenance and water wise. It's great, it makes a great addition to any container or any planting. Consumers would love this plant on their patio or even their pool decks. This plant is available in a 72 cell, planted into a 1 gallon or 2 or 3 gallon. It will finish in about 12 to 16 weeks, which makes it a great fast finisher for you.
Let's talk about the Garden Cloud series of Lonicera nitida, or boxleaf honeysuckle. These are great, compact growing evergreen shrubs that reach about 2 to 3 feet in height and 2 to 3 feet in width. They're hardy in zones 6 to 9. They get small drooping white flowers along the stems in the spring that happen to be fragrant. We have 3 in this new collection. Copper Glow is green with coppered colored new shoots and a very compact habit. Green Breeze is bright green and has a slightly more spreading habit. Purple Storm is green with bright purple new growth in the spring. All 3 of these are fantastic low maintenance boxwood replacements.
Today we're talking about Osmanthus Misty River, this new variegated Osmanthus. What I love about it is the great bright variegated foliage that really brightens up a shady area. Now, Osmanthus, the traditional one on the market, is a green version, but it's been around forever because everybody loves the fragrance. It blooms in the spring and again in the fall. You have these millions of small little white, creamy white flowers, but it just creates a magical fragrance throughout the garden that just wafts everywhere, and that's why it's been such a popular plant for so many years. But this one, it just adds a whole nother level to it by bringing in this variegated foliage. You can see the new growth has that beautiful pink tinge to it, and then it matures to this creamy white and green variegation. Fairly easy plant to grow. It does need some shade, which is a little different than the green version, but it's well worth it.
Super Sempervivens. This is a new breeding program out of Germany for extra large dinner plate size hens and chicks. So we're used to those little ones that are, 2 inches, 3 inches. These are going to be 8 to 10 inches in diameter. A real presence. So put these in a bigger pot, let them pup out. We can take the cuttings off of these, and so you can start your own pups from them. But the main thing to really remember is this is going to be huge. So put them in an 8-inch, put them in a 2-gallon, put them in something where the consumer can really see the difference. But they're amazing plants. They're beautiful sempervivens. They'll be great in containers, great as a border plant in the landscape. Very, very different from anything else on the market, I promise.
We have 2 great new yuccas that we've added to the programs. Yucca Mellow Yellow and Yucca Nice and Easy. So yuccas have been very popular in the landscape world. I think Yucca Color Guard is probably the most well known. When we were trialing these, we were really blown away. It was really a spectacular looking plant. I had people coming through the trial garden saying, oh man, what's that plant? I really like that color. So, we've added it to the program because it got so many positive reviews. It also does bloom, sends up the spike with creamy white blooms, which is actually very attractive. But I think it's going to come in and really be a nice addition for the yucca and for landscape markets. We've even done it in containers, and it looks really nice in a container as well. But again, great landscape plant, easy to grow. We have 72 cell liners available now. Plant that in a 2-3 gallon container, probably about 8-month finish time on that. But again, nice new yucca to add to your program. Next, we also have Yucca Nice and Easy. Look at the variegated foliage on this. So a little bit smaller plant than Mellow Yellow, which gets maybe 4 to 5 feet. This is going to be more like 3 to 4 feet, but very easy to grow as well. But look at that, and it's really soft foliage too. You can touch it, no spikes at all. So very, very, soft and easy to grow. But the variegation is what sets this one off. Never seen anything quite like it. Really shines. When it gets a little cold weather on it, it actually gets a little pink tint to the new foliage on the top. But again, very tough. Not quite as cold hardy as Mellow Yellow. Mellow Yellow goes from a zone 7, 6 to 10. Nice and Easy is going to be more like a zone 8 to 10 or 11. So not quite as cold hardy, but again, tough in all the areas where it is. So it also will be available out of tissue culture in a 72 cell liner. So again, 2 great new yuccas for the program. So look for Yucca Mellow Yellow and Yucca Nice and Easy. I want to thank everybody for your attention, and we look forward to working with you to bring these great plants to the market.